Hey everybody, welcome back to Wicked Sports. This is our World Cup coverage with Swinging at Shins, which is our new podcast hosted by the two gentlemen on my left right now. It might be mirrored, it might be on the right in the YouTube video, but Rhett Conway and Aaron Slater. Guys, how you doing?
Could be better. Definitely be better.
Pretty sad.
Could be better.
I'm not gonna lie. He says better, but I say sad.
Yeah, so of course we just watched the USA versus Wales game where it ended in a 1-1 tie, and I'm gonna be honest, a little controversial.
I gotta say draw, Aaron. I mean, Brian. You still gotta say draw.
Sorry. We'll do that again. USA and Wales drew 1-1 in the first match for the teams in this World Cup. So I guess the biggest question I need to ask, just to set the scene for everybody, how important was a win in this match for the USA in terms of getting out of this group stage? We'll go with Rhett, and then Aaron, if you want to add to what Rhett says.
So you can't take anything for granted.
Mm-hmm.
However, after how Iran played against England, there was that sense that a win versus Wales today was as good as getting second in the group.
Yeah. No,
right.
That sense was already there, and you
it left the door open. It left the door open for Wales. It's really what it ended up being.
Well, we did leave the door open for Wales. That's exactly. But to answer the question, a 2-0 win today would have been as good as getting second.
I mean, even win in general.
Yeah.
No, win in general.
I'm talking about goal difference, but you're right. A win in general would have been enough. A win that I'm sure we're getting into this. A win that I think that we deserved.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. No, Wales got away with one. It's going to be one of those where a draw feels bad for us, but a draw feels good for them.
Right. No, and I definitely get that vibe from the players of on Wales, where it seemed like they were very, very excited to get this 1-1 to kind of escape the U.S. with that. Would you guys say it's fair?
I think that you saw that with the way that the game ended. Everyone on Wales somehow got injured after the 85th minute, somehow, whether the ball was near them or not.
Yep.
And that was it. It was a tale of two teams. One team was playing for a win, not necessarily the way that we wanted them to play for a win, but one team was playing for a win, and one team was very much playing for a draw.
Yeah.
And Wales was playing for a draw. I mean, this is a team that hasn't been in the World Cup in, I don't know, what they're saying, like 50 years?
50, 40, something in that bar. A long time.
This is one of those things, and I talked about this a little bit before we started, and I'm going to get into it now because it pisses me off. We are a nation of 330 million people. We should beat Wales in our sleep. And when I was leaving the bar today, a guy in full U.S. men's team gear said this thing I knew people were going to say that's going to piss me off. Could be worse.
No, it is worse. This
is not good enough. This is not good enough. We need to be winning these games.
Yes.
And for as long as I have been paying attention to U.S. men's team, we have done this where we have been the better team but ended up with the draw and not gotten the goal that we needed, even though we have the attacking play that we needed. For the majority of this game, we were the better team.
Yes.
I think everyone in Wales who watched the game would agree that we were the better team. And Wales right now is saying, thank God we got a draw. And I'm just thinking, how many times throughout the years with U.S. men's team have other countries been saying the same thing? We got outplayed, but we got the draw, so we got the point, so it doesn't matter. And it's infuriating again and again and again with this team.
I will say U.S., what they do best and worst is if there's a team that is better than them, they will play up to their standards. If there is a team that's worse than them, they will play down to their standards. It is the best and worst complementary ever.
And I agree with you, but to the point, we didn't even play down to them. We played better than them. And yes, the Qatari ref was awful to start the game.
He's brutal.
He was. That Dest yellow card in the 80th minute, maybe. Not a yellow card in the 10th. The McKennie was not a yellow card.
No,
Full
of course
stop.
not.
Full stop. That's never a yellow card. But how many times did we have the better attacking play and we have no ability to finish?
Weird.
And again, Ricardo Pepi is at home And I don't understand why.
Oh, he's kicking his shoes up, sipping some tea right now.
I don't understand what's even going on with this
Oh,
team.
it's so brutal.
But it's annoying because, again, this is the same thing that we've been dealing with for the 12 years that he and I, off the top of our head, can think about the U.S. men's team.
Yeah.
And I'm sure the older people who may be listening to this podcast are just sitting there nodding their head saying, yes, you summer childs. This is exactly what it's like. This is a game that we should have won, full stop. I will put that on anything. We should have won this game. We were the better team by far in the first 15 minutes. We were the better team by far over the full 90 minutes.
Yeah.
There were times where Wales looked good.
Yeah, of course. I won't knock that.
This is infuriating.
It
because
did.
Now we're looking for a result against England.
Yep.
An England team that looks super good.
Oh, they're deadly.
England team that looks super good. I mean, Foden, Grealish, and Rashford came on as subs when they were already up 3-0.
And
you're
2 out
just
of 3
like,
scored.
Holy crap.
Yeah.
And I mean, Rashford looked deadly.
Yep. Grealish just happened to be there. But even at that rate, if you
But
happen to
Grealish
be
was
there, you
also
still have
there.
to finish.
He was
Yeah,
still
you
there.
still have to finish.
Which is something that the Americans didn't have.
Nope.
At no point did we have the guy who was just there.
Yep.
Which a lot of times we were looking for the guy. We had a lot of crosses into the box looking for the guy to be there.
Mm-hmm.
And we didn't have the guy who was just there.
No, it was
So,
tough.
yeah, you can say, oh, yeah, Grealish was just there. I would kill to have Grealish on this team right now.
I totally agree.
And that's the problem. If anyone hears a child in the background, that's Harper. She is delightful.
Yes.
She's a
So,
Again, corresponded as we covered
she was our
last time.
correspondent.
All right, so obviously, like, I'm not the most well versed in football, soccer. It seemed to me that, and maybe I'm just bitter and I wanted USA to win. It seemed to me that the refs were not on our side. Let's say that. What would that be an accurate feeling? I've seen a lot of people on Twitter agree, but I want to get your takes. Aaron, if you want to start with that one, since we started with Red on the last one.
He definitely led with a lot of cards initially, which doesn't create a lot of open play. He flashed cards on the very first foul, which is very uncommon to see. Usually you let a buildup of fouls happen and then you show the yellow card.
Well, and I'm going to let you finish, but we're not saying that you can't card the first foul. You can card the first foul if the first foul is
Cardable.
needing a card.
Sure, of course.
And that it wasn't.
There were both of Dest's foul and McKinney's fouls were not fouls. Cardable anyway. They were fouls, don't get me wrong.
McKinney's was barely a foul.
It was a foul enough, per se, but it wasn't cardable. And then you put those players in an unfair advantage at that point because now they have to be mindful of the yellow in order to get a red if that ends up happening.
Well, and not only the yellow, you're allowed, and I'm sorry, we were going to look this up, but we just got back. I think you're allowed 3 yellows before you get a suspension in the World Cup. So you have a yellow this match. That means that you can't get a yellow the next 2 matches.
Yep.
Or you get suspended. So McKennie's thinking about that.
Yep, of course.
Dest is thinking about that. Yeah. Now, is DeAndre Yedlin a good replacement? He's a good replacement. He's not a like-for-like replacement.
No, Dest is better.
One thing I am going to say is I'm not a conspiracy theorist. So the conspiracy theorists who are listening to this podcast, I'm sorry.
I'll put my tinfoil hat on.
Just stop. It's not going to happen for me. What I saw was not a ref that didn't understand. Like, he wasn't a ref that had an agenda. He was a ref that let the game get out of hand. And one thing that I loved about this U.S. men's team was we came out physical. We came out fast.
Oh, we look good. We look so good.
We weren't even going to necessarily win every 50-50 ball, but we were not going to lose it.
Exactly.
And the problem is a ref that's worried about the game getting away from him, that can very much look like cardable offenses.
Yep.
Dest was not going to get beat.
No.
And especially on the touchline. And I was saying, oh, he's on the touchline. Where's he going to go? Well, you had Pulisic do the same thing on the touchline on the other side, and he went sprinting on the touchline. And you're just saying to yourself, you're not beating me.
No.
And that's where I want our U.S. That's where I want our squad to be.
Mm-hmm.
But to a ref that's maybe playing out of his depth, which
it might.
he was.
Yeah.
That's it. Looks like cardable offenses.
Yep.
But it's the same thing of there. All right, is it a foul if I come in and I come in right behind you and I take your feet out from you a little bit? Sure, but the really physical players know how to play off that. They know how to use that against you. It's almost like wrestling where you use the momentum against you. In soccer, for that to be a card like McKenny's card was, it's like, you know what? If that's the 5th time he's done it,
Yeah, of course.
but the first time, I mean, that was like the 15th
Within
minute.
exactly
That's
so early
not-
called. It's
and it completely changes the way of the game, and it takes away the entire American thunder.
Yep.
All that being said, I do not want anyone to listen to this podcast and think that we're saying that the ref lost us this game. We lost this game for the same reason, well, drew this game for the same reason why we don't finish out games.
Yeah.
We do not have that killer instinct. We have not had that killer instinct since Landon Donovan left.
there is that gap. Yeah. Well, even like I was saying earlier, how England is able to control a game by pushing it in their back and keeping it from left to right. Essentially, they just keep moving it from their left back to center back to right back, and they just keep moving it forward. They don't necessarily have to look for their striker to try to get the attacking movement, but they can just be able to maintain and hold the ball. And that's something that USA doesn't have that capability. And that's why at that point, a 1-0 win would have been ecstatic, but it was also very dangerous to play with.
Well, yeah, and the one time we had like the Pulisic away goal was amazing.
Oh God, it was
right?
so beautiful.
But the thing is, we watched England do that 6 times.
Yeah, we did.
We did it once.
Yep.
England did it 6 times.
Yep. They did.
And
certainly
that
did.
Sterling goal. And I'll say this: Sterling is an overrated player. He lets the ball get taken off his feet. He makes crappy passes in the final third. He gives the ball up all the time.
Yep.
But you know what Sterling does that no one else in the U.S. team did apart from Way one time?
Hit me.
He's in that final spot.
Ah.
He is exactly where you need to be for the final pass.
Yep.
We have plenty of guys who look for the final pass.
Yep.
No one's ever there.
No, there's
Kane didn't even look up. Kane dribbled
Just
around
whipped
his
it in.
guy and whipped it in because someone's supposed to be there.
Yeah.
And someone was there. And
Yeah.
suddenly it was 3-0 in the first half against Iran, and England were off and running.
yeah.
England's got to be looking at this result right now saying they're the happiest people in the
Oh
world.
God,
You
yeah.
beat
you
Iran
gotta-
by 4 goals, and the Wales and U.S. men's team tied.
Yeah.
It almost doesn't matter. They have to beat one of us, and it's over.
Yeah.
They already have the group.
Yep.
And it's that ability to be in the final spot. We don't have that guy. We haven't had that guy since Donovan. And the only reason why Donovan wasn't more of that guy is because he was making up for a lack of midfield at the time. But he was that guy who would be in the final spot. And I love Pulisic. Pulisic is great, but you know what Pulisic needs? That guy in the final spot. And I'm telling you this, and I said this before when we started this podcast, Timmy Way needs to be in the center because he knows how to get to that final spot. Put Gio on the right side, put Aronson on the right side. Why Aronson didn't start is beyond me.
What
I
do you mean?
can't believe Sargent started. Yes, he's a true striker, but he was never where we needed him to be in the
No.
final spot.
He was very.
We need goals.
He's missing.
Yeah.
And Berhalter did a very bad job at subbing. You're telling me you
I
left
didn't like his
Gia
subs.
on the
I
west
didn't like
on
his
the
subs.
bench?
I liked his subs when we were winning. The Jordan Morrison sub
Oh.
at the end of the game is inexcusable.
Stop it.
I don't understand.
That's brutal.
I don't know.
You're telling me that you left Gio on. Oh goodness, Gio on the bench. It's like a courtesy for Morrison to play.
You know, he doesn't have the final. Morrison's the type of guy that I expect to put in when we already have our place in the group locked up.
Yeah.
I like Jordan Morrison. I like what he is for U.S. soccer. I like the story. I like everything.
Of course.
He's not who I need. He's not who I want coming on when we need the goal.
No.
And I
agree.
also think that we need to change how we play.
Of course.
Our 4-3-3 is great. We just need to restructure it a bit. Adam needs to drop back a little bit more. McKenny played great up front. We need Aronson as a 10. We need Way in the middle, and we need another winger. And the other winger that we have is Gio. And that's how we're going to score goals. And quite frankly, on Friday, I'm going to be there.
Yep.
I'm going to love it.
Hopefully.
I don't think we're going to win.
I don't think so either.
So that leads to Wales needs to lose.
Yep.
Against England as well.
And
They
yep.
don't have to lose Oh, they should lose.
I mean, I'd like them to win against Iran, but
No,
I also don't
no.
think them seeing doing that.
No,
They're
If
good.
if
They're a good
lo-
enough team to do.
They lose
win
against Iran, then they lose against England, and all we have to do is beat Iran. Which again, all we have to do.
Yeah, of course.
But-
Everything sounds good in words.
We could be in such a good position, and right now we're not. And I think that's almost what the title of the podcast should be. We could be in such a position, and we're not. And here are the reasons why.
Yep.
So.
All right. Well, is there any? I think you guys left it all out there, but is there anything that we didn't touch on that you wanted to touch on?
McKenny was awesome. He played so much better than I thought he was going to.
I thought Adams was good too.
Adams was
Honestly, I thought
very
Adams
good
was
in the deep lying role. It's a miracle he didn't get a card.
No, but he was fouled. He fouled so many
He fouled a
people.
lot. He didn't get a card. The penalty was a penalty. I'm not going to lie that. He got caught out. It was a penalty.
At the moment, I wanted VAR so bad.
No
but
one wanted. You see it and you're like, no way. No, I mean, you can be. I think Jack said it the best. I was posting in the chat. Absolutely no way. Spelled wrong. Then way. Then maybe. Then yes. Then yeah. That was a penalty.
Yeah.
Like, that was the 5 stages of grief.
Yep.
it was tough.
I think
We didn't
we're
defend
good.
that bad either, though. Like we
We
didn't.
defended bad in a one moment.
That's all it was.
When you get
which
a goal,
is-
that's it.
Yep.
I think moving forward, to answer your question, anything else we want to touch on? I think moving forward, we're in a good position if we play as well as we can. I think that this game shows right now that we're the second best team in this group.
Agreed.
We just got to score the goals to prove it.
Also agreed.
And I don't know if we're going to do that.
I hope so. I hope we.
We'll find out sooner than later. Friday after Thanksgiving, after everyone's full of turkey and tired, we're going to be seeing the U.S. face off with England, who looked real good, as you guys said. So, other than that, plug the podcast and let's get out of here.
Yep. So we do a podcast at Swingin at Shins. We put out our final preview and first match reactions yesterday. That is at Swinging at Shins. That is swinging with no G at the end on YouTube. And then we also have our podcast on Wicked Good Sports, which has all your sports needs. He does the Villa. I do the Way West Stand. Obviously, he covers Aston Villa. I cover Arsenal. Still top of the league. That's not going to change.
That's impressive.
Oh, it's going to be top of the league for a while. No matter what happens, Arsenal's top of the league.
But I
I'm
feel
gonna
good
bring
in
that up.
12.
Yeah. But yeah, apart from that, Swinging at Shins is on Spotify. It's on Apple TV. We're on YouTube. We're putting out a bunch of stuff. Follow us at Swinging at Shins on Instagram. We have our own Instagram page.
Yes.
And then I also in Albany, if you're ever in the capital region of New York, have the Albany Gooners that I'm pushing a lot. We're on Instagram, we're on Facebook, we're on Twitter, we're everywhere. You can find social media, apart from whatever that weird site was that you found earlier, Brian. I don't know, Knox or something.
Hive. Follow me on Hive at
Yeah,
Ryan
follow
Moore.
Brian on Hive. Don't follow Albany Gooners on Hive.
It's
because
like
we're
Bumble?
not on Hive. No, Bumble's where you're like too much of a simp to talk to the girl yourself.
Oh, gotcha.
Sorry,
Okay.
Bumble. If you want to sponsor us, you can sponsor us. But anyway, that's it. And Swinging at Shins, Wicked Good Sports Pod on Instagram.
Yes.
Also have an Instagram page going there.
Yeah, so please go check all of those out. Follow us on Twitter at Wicked Good Sport, Wicked Good Everything, Instagram, Wicked Good Everything, twitch.tv/Wicked Good Everything, and on TikTok, search Wicked Good Sports, search Wicked Good Everything. Thank you so much for your time, guys, and we will see you all in the next one.